A new week with new bonuses and crazy discounts just arrived in GTA Online, running from July 17th to July 24th. In this video, I'm gonna show you 6 things you must buy this week because there are some really good discounts. So let's not waste any time, leave a like, consider subscribing, and let's dive in. This week there are no properties on discount, so our first discount is the Hydra at 40% off, dropping its price down 1.6 million without the trade price or 1.2 million with the trade price, becoming an awesome price. It's initially a Pegasus vehicle, so if you want to call it through the interaction menu, you'll need to own a hangar and have it stored there. And speaking of the hangar, the Hydra has no customization at all, just the ability to change its color and remove it from the hangar, so keep that in mind. Another interesting thing to highlight is that since it's a Pegasus vehicle, you can keep calling Hydras and storing them in your hangar in case for some reason you want to fill your hangar with Hydras. Alright, let's start talking about its weaponry. The Hydra is equipped with dual explosive cannons, which are very strong, dealing the same damage as a homing missile when they explode and firing at an insane rate of fire. So you can understand how ridiculously overpowered these cannons are, but their range isn't particularly special, to be honest. Even against armored targets, these cannons are insanely effective, and don't even get me started when the target is unarmored, of course. Additionally, it also comes with homing and non-homing missiles, which don't have the best range honestly, exploding about 5 seconds after launch, and you fire 2 missiles at a time with a cooldown of around 4 seconds before you can shoot another pair, which is the same as with other aircraft. On top of that, the Hydra features VTOL mode, which allows you to basically do everything a helicopter can do: hover, make minimal horizontal and vertical movements, and land with extreme ease. It's not as good as the Ryu's VTOL, not as precise or responsive, but it does have more speed in VTOL mode than the Ryu. This also makes it spawn in much better locations when called through Pegasus, just like helicopters do. Combining all this with its insane weapons, and the Hydra becomes a deadly and absurdly strong vehicle. Performance-wise, the Hydra has a top speed of 209 miles per hour, making it the 4th fastest plane in the game, and fun fact, the 3rd plane is also on discount this week, and I'll talk about it in this video too. As for its armor, it can take only 1 homing missile before exploding, and it's really fragile, so even a small bump into something and it will start smoking right away. Overall, the Hydra remains an incredible aircraft with a decent price normally, but this week's discount makes it insanely good, so I absolutely think you should buy it. 40% off, no doubt. Coming back down to earth, we've got the classy weaponized tempo, also 40% off on WARTSTOCK. Its price drops from $2.1 million to $1.3 million without the trade price, and from $1.6 to just under $1 million with the trade price. This vehicle has a wide variety of weapons, but it heavily depends on bunker research. So if you haven't unlocked everything yet, it won't be super useful right now. But I still think it's worth buying this week and keeping it for when you have all the upgrades unlocked. First off, it comes with a forward-facing minigun, which is static, so you can't move it. But with the bunker research, you can upgrade it to a dual minigun, which you can move 360 degrees. It also has a faster fire rate, making it a powerful weapon against unarmored vehicles, NPCs, and players with pretty good accuracy. You can also equip a missile launcher on the front of the vehicle, though it's not that great. It doesn't have a lock-on capability, making it less useful, and it only carries 20 missiles. You also have to be careful not to blow yourself up with it, especially when braking, going uphill, or hitting bumps. And again, this weapon is only unlocked through the research. There's also the rear mortar upgrade, also research locked, which places an explosive launcher in the trunk. It fires explosives backwards, but they're tricky to control because the distance depends on how long you hold the fire button. The max range is reached after about 2 seconds of holding, but even then it's not a crazy range. And just like the missiles, you only get 20 shots. Additionally, you can equip proximity mines, which are always useful to have, whether you use them often or not. So the weaponized tempo really does come with a lot of weapon options, but to be honest, most of the time you'll just be using the dual minigun, especially in missions. And I wouldn't recommend using this car in public lobbies because unfortunately it has 0 protection against explosives. There's an armor upgrade available through the research, but all it really does is give you a bit more durability when something blows up next to the car, just enough time for you to react and hopefully not die. Another downside is that you're pretty much fully exposed to gunfire from all the sides, which is kinda sad. Performance-wise, it's actually one of the fastest weaponized vehicles in the game, with a top speed of 112 miles per hour, slightly faster than its regular version, which tops out at around 106 miles per hour. Next up, we've got the Western Rogue, also 40% off, dropping from $1.6 million to just $1 million without the trade price, which is already great, but with the trade price it goes from $1.2 million to only $720,000. And that is super easy to unlock. All you need to do is complete 6 source missions in your hangar. First of all, you can equip the Rogue with bombs, but honestly it's not easy. You need a lot of experience to consistently hit your targets. I usually go for explosive bombs. As for its primary weapons, I believe it comes with none by default, but you can equip it with either machine guns or explosive cannons, and obviously the explosive cannons are the better option. They're very similar to the Hydras, though with a slightly lower fire rate, still very strong. For secondary weapons, you can also equip homing missiles, which is awesome. It gives you even more offensive power, and these missiles are actually really solid. And if that wasn't enough, you can also add countermeasures, which makes the Rogue even more overpowered and great for PvP. So yeah, this is a really good aircraft with strong offensive and defensive capabilities. It also can withstand 2 homing missiles before blowing up on the 3rd. Not bad at all. Performance wise is really fast, reaching speeds of up to around 219 miles per hour, making it even faster than the Hydra and placing in the top 3 fastest planes in the game. That's honestly not something you'd expect from a plane like this. As for its handling, it can be a bit unpredictable or sensitive, kinda hard to control at times, so I recommend testing out different handling styles in your hangar and seeing what works best for you. Personally, I use the sport handling. I find it to be pretty balanced. It's not too unpredictable, but not too smooth either. And one more thing worth mentioning, it's actually a 2-seater, so you can take your buddy for some dogfighting, giving them a closer and more intense view of the fight, let's say. Overall, the Rogue is definitely one of the best planes in the game. Great performance, great weapons, countermeasures, and an absolutely amazing price. You need to buy it. Next up, we've got the Gallivanter Balder STD at 40% off, going for just over $1 million this week on Legendary Motorsports. This SUV has a decent amount of customization options, nothing crazy, but they're there, and honestly I think it's a really good looking car. It can be equipped with the IMANI tech upgrades, either the remote control unit or the missile lock-on jammer. I definitely recommend the jammer, especially because the car can't be fitted with armor plating, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. However, it does come with bullet resistant windows, which break after the 15th shot, pretty solid actually. Performance wise, it's obviously a heavy SUV, so the handling and brakes aren't the best, but they're still manageable. Its acceleration isn't anything impressive either, and it has a top speed of around 118 miles per hour, making it the 11th fastest SUV in the game, even just one spot ahead of the Enus Jubilee. So if you like SUVs and the way this one looks, and you got the money to spare, go for it. If not, honestly the other discounts this week are a better deal in my opinion. We just talked about an SUV, now let's talk about an off-roader. The Declassy Jogger, once again 40% off this week on Southern San Andreas Super Autos, bringing its price down from $1.8 to just $1.1 million. This vehicle is simply amazing to drive. It has solid acceleration, an okay top speed of around 112 miles per hour, and it's an absolute monster off-road. You have full control over the car, it almost never slips or loses traction, it just feels glued to the ground, even over small bumps, which is incredible. Overall, it's just super fun to drive. It also comes with wide range of customization options, really fun to modify, and personally I think it looks insanely good. Of course, this isn't a vehicle made for missions or PvP, but if you enjoy off-roading, I think this is an essential addition to your garage. Before moving on to the weekly recap, let's talk about the Seabreeze, which is also 40% off, dropping from $850 to just $510,000. That's a phenomenal price for a really solid aircraft. It can be equipped with countermeasures, bombs, and machine guns. Nothing too crazy to say about that, but one really cool and unique feature of the Seabreeze is that you can literally dive into the water and it will just bounce back to the surface. If you stop, it flows perfectly and you can take off again super easily. You do have to be careful not to flip it upside down though, in that case it will get destroyed. It has a solid performance with a top speed of 192 miles per hour and it flies extremely smoothly. It can take 2 homing missiles before blowing up on the 3rd, and it's a 2-seater as well. For the price, I think everyone should take advantage of this deal. Moving on to the weekly recap, for money bonuses this week we've got double money in RP on Mr. Favorite Work, time trials, G's Cash, and stockpile. The LS car meet prize right this week is the Pegassi Infernus Classic, and all you need to do is place top 3 for 3 days in a row in any LS car meet race. At the test track we've got the Dubachi Exemplar, the Vapid Click, and the Inventero Coquette. The podium vehicle at the Diamond Casino this week is the Grotti Furia, a really good car, definitely worth trying your luck. At the gun van this week, we've got the L Strickler, the Tactical SMG 30% off, grab it, the Railgun 40% off for GTA Plus members, the Gusenberg Sweeper, the Vintage Pistol, and the Switchblade. And for throwables, we've got pipe bombs, tear gas, and sticky bombs. This week's regular time trial is Chiliad Wilderness, and the HSW time trial is Pacific Bluffs. I highly recommend doing them both this week because of the double money. The priority file at the Garment Factory this week is a brute force file, paying $316,000. At the salvage yard this week, we've got the Albany Cavalcade XL by completing the Duggan robbery, the Bravado Buffalo EVX by completing the Podium robbery, and the Pagasi Ignis by completing the McTony robbery, and none of these are claimable. At Siemens dealership, we've got the Ocelot Lynx, the Western Wolfsbane, the Pagasi Vaca, the Canis Body, and the Vapid Retinue. And finally, at Luxury Autos, we have the Annus Minimus and the Grotti LS Army Cheetah Classic. And that's it for this week, one of the best weeks in terms of discounts lately. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, consider subscribing, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.